Welcome back. Another edition of WFAN Daily. I'm Anthony Gallo. Yes, Sal Licata has allowed me this playground to talk about a league near and dear to me, the MLS, celebrating its 30th year. And last time we spoke to Bradley Wright Phillips. And this time we get to speak to fellow MLS/New York Red Bulls legend Dax McCarty on behalf of the MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. Dax is a 19-year MLS veteran, third all-time on the MLS appearance lists. So let's jump into it. Here is my conversation with Dax McCarty. Dax McCarty, welcome aboard WFAN Daily. Pleasure to have you. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Anthony. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good, awesome. We're very excited. This is now the second edition of this. We had your former running mate, Bradley Wright Phillips, on, and I know I just told you off air. It feels like I'm just running through the gauntlet now. You guys crushed me for 5-6 years as an NYCFC fan, but I'm excited to talk to you. I wanted to start right now. You joined the MLS Season Pass via Apple TV. How has that experience been?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. Anytime an athlete has to retire and transition out of the game, I think it's difficult. But with me having played 19 years in MLS, almost 6 great years, like you mentioned, with the New York Red Bulls, I was ready. It was my time. I was very clear in the middle of last year that I was ready to move on from the game and transition into my next career. And obviously, when the Apple opportunity presented itself, it was a no-brainer. I'm extremely grateful to be able to step in and do something that I think I'm going to love just as much as I did playing.
And you guys do a great job. How is that? What's that adjustment like? Obviously, you get through your habits and your regiment as a player. What is that like now joining the broadcasting side of it?
Yeah, it's a little bit different in terms of your preparation. The good thing is that I have 19 years of institutional knowledge about MLS. So I already have a slight advantage over maybe other potential people that would have taken the job that I got lucky enough to get. But it's more mental preparation than physical preparation. When you're a player, it's all about, what do you eat? How are you taking care of your body? How's your physical fitness? And now it's more your mental acuity, right? How many games can you watch? How many players do you know? How many games can you consume on a weekly basis? And to be able to step into a studio in a role where I have a comfort level and familiarity with people that I like, people that I respect, and people who I feel like are brilliant analysts, it's been a really seamless transition for me.
So you obviously you're celebrating the 30th year of the MLS. You played 19 years. What is this new coverage, this new access we've gotten? We've got the new season-long documentary, which I've been hooked on. What has this been for you as not just a former player but a fan of the league? How has that helped towards the coverage and the growth of the MLS?
Well, it's been like rocket fuel, Anthony. Anytime that you have a partner as recognizable as Apple, I think that's always going to lead to great things. We're in the 3rd year now of the partnership between MLS and Apple, the streaming of the games. It's the new frontier of where I believe live sports is heading. And MLS and Apple, they're at the forefront of that. They're innovators. You can watch games now in 100 different countries in English or Spanish. Pretty much any time you want to watch a game, it's accessible to you. And so for me, it's been amazing to see the growth and the coverage of the league just explode. I think that our fans and our supporters are more knowledgeable than ever, and I think there's such a big appetite for soccer in this country right now. You've got so many fun tournaments happening this summer with the FIFA Club World Cup. You've got a new format with the Leagues Cup, the competition between MLS and Liga MX. You have the MLS All-Star Game in July in Austin, Texas. That all leads into the 2026 World Cup. I think the American soccer fan is spoiled for opportunity and riches right now when it comes to coverage in this country, and Apple is at the forefront of that.
It's very true. I went for the first time. I went to England last year, and I was shocked at how hard it was to actually consume the local matches there. And then I come home and not just, we have coverage throughout all the leagues in Europe, but specifically with the MLS, I feel like you said, we are spoiled. We've got a NFL level of coverage from you guys. And part of that, I would say, has to do with the arrival of Messi. You've
Yep.
played against a lot of not just, like world class, European legends, but you've also played against a lot of American legends. How has Messi's arrival to the league really impacted it more than anyone else has before?
Yeah, it's been transformational. We've seen an impact similar to his when David Beckham arrived to MLS back in 2007. But the difference is that, while David Beckham was a great player, he was a commercial darling. There were things off the field that David Beckham brought that I don't think any other human being could have brought to MLS. With Lionel Messi, it's all about his on field impact. He is a transformational player. He's the greatest player that's ever lived. And the fact that he chose to come to MLS at the time of his career that he did while he's still playing at a high level, I think it speaks volumes to the health and growth of Major League Soccer right now. He was an absolute menace to play against. I was lucky enough to play against him a few times in my time while I was still a player. But he just brings an aura and a persona and a must-watch attitude to a game, if you will. And so we don't know how much longer Messi is going to play. I hope he continues to play as long as he possibly can. But fans would do well and supporters would do well to try to get eyeballs on him whenever you get a chance, because like everyone says, Father Time is undefeated and it will be coming to an end soon.
Yeah, I was at the when he came to the Bronx, at Yankee Stadium, and outside of the first few times you guys as the Red Bull came to Yankee Stadium, I've never seen a crowd like that. So that's just another example of his impact. Now, as we said, we're celebrating the 30th year of the MLS. You played for 19 seasons. From the day you made your debut to now, not even just in your playing career, what has been the biggest change? Like, what has stood out to you the most? Is it the level of play, the facilities, more soccer specific stadiums?
Well, Anthony, you're taking my job. You're taking my job from me. You're naming all of the things that have grown significantly in my time. When I started in 2006, for the most part, there were 2 or 3 soccer-specific stadiums, and then every other team played in an American football stadium. Now, if you don't have a stadium plan, if you don't have a soccer-specific stadium, it's impossible for you to become an MLS team. And I think that's been absolutely tremendous for not just the growth for MLS, but also for supporter culture, for supporters to say they have a home, to be able to go every weekend to where you can support your team. I think that's just been transformational for MLS. And it's also youth development. The infrastructure in the youth grassroots programs with MLS Next Pro all the way up through to the first team. This is an organizational structure that we haven't seen before in Major League Soccer. You have MLS producing players like a Diego Luna, a Jack McGlynn, a Brian Gutierrez, a Kevin Sullivan, all players who have the potential to go on and contribute to our U.S. men's national team for years to come. Major League Soccer, after 30 years, has just seen so much growth. It's really hard to pinpoint one thing, but I would say that stadiums and infrastructure, as well as youth development, are some of the things that I've been most impressed with.
Now, and I just wanted to point out, you are third all time in appearances, and that's very awesome to see. And again, like I said, most of them were at my, expense as a fan. But just we are a New York-based entity, and we have a partnership with the Red Bulls, and we used to have a partnership with the NYCFC. I wanted to start with the Red Bulls. They're 2-2-1 to start the season. They went on that magical run last year to get to the final. Do they have enough? I don't want to limit it just to the MLS Cup, but do they have enough to bring home silverware this year for their great fans?
They don't have enough right now, Anthony, to bring home silverware, especially with what I've seen after 5 games. They've been a little bit inconsistent, and I still don't see them having enough in the attacking third for them to be a real contender. You have Emil Forsberg, who's been a wonderful signing, a guy who already has 3 goals on the season. But their main striker, Eric Choupo-Moting, he's still he hasn't scored yet this season, and might have 1 goal on a penalty kick, but they need more in attack from him. And so they have a foundation defensively that's really important for them to be able to be in every game that they play. But as of right now, where it stands with this Red Bulls team, they're going to need to add more if they want to compete for silverware this year.
Now, the Red Bulls have been one of the premier franchises in the league for developing youth talent. And this past weekend, their crosstown rivals, NYCFC, had three teenagers playing in the match. They it was Johnny Shores, Maximo Carrizo, Seymour Garfield Reed. Is this something that maybe NYCFC fans can hang their hat on as after a very lackluster offseason? Is this something that maybe they can build some confidence off of?
Yeah, absolutely. I think NYCFC has always been synonymous with signing big name, high priced players. I think the youth development with NYCFC has been really impressive this year. And you mentioned Johnny Shore. He's only 17 years old. He's being relied upon to play at the heart of midfield. And I've been really impressed with what I've seen from him so far this season. So if NYCFC can continue to develop players at the rate they're developing, I think they're still going to be competitive in an Eastern Conference that's very difficult to make the playoffs in right now.
Dax, thank you so much for your time. You can catch Dax every week on the MLS Season Pass, Apple TV. Thank you for stopping by.
Anthony, thanks for having me.